Hello everyone, this is Eddie and welcome to this review of the performance test for the California bar exam that was administered in July of 2019. What I want to do here is give an overview, but I also want to give tips on how to approach these performance tests. So if you have not taken this performance test, this is going to be very helpful. And if you did take it, and then I am going to give a quick overview. Now, I do want to say that the work that I present here does not have to be exact for you to get a passing score. And why is that? Is because you are required to write an organized essay. That does not mean that there's just one way to be organized. So with that said, let's get started. Now, there was a challenging aspect to this particular performance test, and that was in the area of identifying the major issues that are found in the file. I'm going to show you what I did, and I did not get stuck. It was challenging, but I did not spend a lot of time in identifying these issues, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did. So first, of course, I go to the task, and they want you to write on the topic of presenting prior specific incidents. So what I did here was, okay, I read the task, and what I do always is I want to find these major issues, and sometimes they're very apparent, other times they're not. For the last bar exam that was administered in February of 2019, the major issues were not as apparent, and so the examiner said, well, examinees are getting somewhat stuck there, so let's repeat that. Let's make this area a little bit more challenging. And so what I say to that is this, that there's a tip that they give you when these major issues are presented. So sometimes they'll be enumerated, or sometimes they'll have, for example, a count like first, second, and third. So when I look for the major issues, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something that is apparent. So let's go to that now. So I first come across this, the memorandum, expected testimony. There's the list there. I don't see nothing that is very apparent there. Nothing that is enumerated first, second, third. Okay, so I say very well. Then I go to this transcript. And again, I'm just glancing through this. And it says here, look, first. Okay, so 3 separate incidents. First, second, and then third. So now there's a key that I can use, and I'm thinking, okay, are these the incidents that they're referring to? And I do want to double check. So what I did was this. So I started thinking, what was that all about in this document here, expected testimony? Then I go back to the memorandum, and then it says again that a person is being charged with identity theft. And they also want 3 specific incidents. So then I go back here, and just to confirm, it's expected testimony for the pending trial, not prior acts. So I'm thinking now, okay, I'm not going to focus too much on this at the moment because the major issues here are to discuss prior incidents. And that is what this document here, the pretrial hearing, the transcript, that is what I need to complete my task. And now I'm going to show you the structure that I used. So what I did here, I like to write, of course, the caption memorandum, and then I do write within that introductory paragraph, I do write the major issues, and that's what you see here. Issue 1, traffic stop. And just from a bird's eye view, this is what the skeleton outline will look like. And I took out all the content here so you can see it very clearly. The first incident. And of course, they want you to write about the substantive evidence, and they also want you to write about impeachment. And that's laid out very clearly in the memorandum. And I'm just following instructions here. With this said, I hope that people did not get stuck in trying to decipher what the major issues were. Now let's go to the library. Instead of actually going to the library, I'm gonna just lay out the rules here that I used. And again, I will say that this is not something you have to strictly follow, but if it's somewhere along the lines, and then I would say you still achieve a passing score. Again, none of these performances that are passing, none of them will look exactly alike. So let's go through this very briefly. I would say the bulk of the content was that first major issue involving the traffic stop. So again, here we have heading, substantive evidence, 404, and all that says is that specific instances of conduct are prohibited, and many of you already know that from studying evidence. And of course, you have the exceptions there. And here you had a whole list: motive, opportunity, intent. So one of the things you had to grapple with is which of these elements you had to use. Do you use all of them? Do you use maybe a few, a couple, or just one? Now, I'm going to surmise that there's going to be a variation, so there's not just one answer. So I want you to relax. I do not want you to panic. I do not want to cause any anxiety. Now, what I did was I just grabbed intent or mistake. Why did I grab these two elements? The reason being is because in one of the cases, they highlighted intent or absence of mistake, and also I noticed that they use the word mental state. So I said, okay, well, mental state usually refers to intent. And this is just prior knowledge that I use because I'm familiar with the rules of evidence. Now let's go on here. Then there were other factors, degree of similarity. I did identify that because I want to focus on the counter argument. And there are different ways of identifying the counter argument. The most apparent way is to look at the content and see if we could find an explicit defense, and I want to rebut that defense. So then the counter for the defendant says we object to his evidence. None of this goes towards truthfulness. I want to find something there that I can attack. Let's go back. And I want to analyze whether the defenses, are they similar? And here they are not explicitly similar, but there is a rule on that, and I'm going to make sure I discuss that rule. It says, however, similarity does not have to be presented. It is sufficient that knowledge or intent be shown. So I'm going to just mention that. I'm going to get some points there. Now let's go on. And I'm not going to pay too much attention to temporal relationship. Then, of course, I talk about impeachment. I state the rule there. I'm not going to spend too much time there. And then you go on and you just repeat the analysis. You go on to the incident at the bar, the same structure. I showed you the structure earlier. And then you go to the third incident, the phone call. And there was a specific case law on that, where persuading a witness to lie on the stand can be used for impeachment purposes. And that is it. Hope this overview was helpful. If you took the exam, hope you passed. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the best.